Dear students, welcome back to Object-Oriented Programming using Java. This is VSN Kumar, Department of Computer Science, Archer Degree College, Kakinada. In the last section, I explained Object-Oriented Programming and also the characteristics of Object-Oriented Programming. As you know, Java is Object-Oriented Programming language in which we write programs using classes. From the classes we are going to create object. With the help of the object where we are going to perform processing. That means finally we write a Java program using classes. To run your program we are creating objects. With the help of the objects where we are going to use instant variables and methods. Now in this section I am explaining what are the features of object-oriented programming. It is very important question, and every object-oriented programming supports some features. Why we have to learn these features? Because why we are adopting object-oriented technology? To move our information or things from one place to another place. When a data is individual, it is not possible to transfer, whereas the individual data we combine it. And we are going to have some methods. With the help of the methods and data where we are going to create object, with the help of the object where we are going to transfer the things. So collecting instant variables and methods in a single place is the primary concept of object oriented. So in the features of Java you may see that object-oriented programming supports different types of features. They are class, object, data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding. So all these terminologies are very much important. When you are going to attend campus days or when you are attending YOS, they are going to ask you, what is the difference between data abstraction and encapsulation? What is polymorphism? What is inheritance? So what is class and object? All these terminologies are very much important in object-oriented programming. So among all, the very first fundamental concept is class and object. Class and object. What is meant by class and what is meant by object? In the beginning days in Java or in the previous classes, I given the class program like this. Every Java program starts with class name. You may write any class name. A class contains instance variables, you may write any number of instance variables and methods. This is what is called class. A class name within brace, instance variables and methods. This is the subject of class. Whenever you want to operate this class, whenever you want to run this class, from this class you are going to create an object. So that's why ABC, some AA equal to new ABC. For creating object, what you required? New operator. That is in small letters. This is called object. Of course, we say this is called object reference, but in this moment this is sufficient. AA is object. That means whatever the instance variables, whatever the methods you collected in the class, everything are assigned inside this object. Everything is combined inside this object. Now when you are going to open this AA, in AA you may see there will be instance variables, there will be methods. It is just like a Xerox machine which copies. That means the overall structure of the class. Overall structure means the instance variables, methods, everything will be collected inside this AA. If you are going to create another object, I am creating another object from the class ABC. From the ABC I am creating another class. That means AA is one object, BB is another object. Just like this, class ABC is like class person. Class person. From the person class, I am creating Kumar, Satish, Raju. Kumar, Satish, Raju. These three people belongs to this person class. Person class. What are the things are available in the person? That all things are copied to Kumar, Prasad and Raju. Three individual people. Three independent people. But what are the things are there? Everything is common. Kumar walks, Raju walks, Kumar sings songs, Raju sings songs. That means the methods and properties, everything will be the same. It means what methods are there, what properties are there, everything we collected it inside a class. Like here also, I created a class ABC with instant variables and methods. Whatever the instant variables are there, whatever the methods are there, everything are copied in AA and BB. It is like Kumar, it is like Raju. What content is there in Kumar, the same content is available in Raju, but two are two different objects. Each object is going to perform its own task. That means you execute a method from Kumar, you execute a method from Raju. Because according to the method, the Raju behavior is there. According to the method of Kumar, Kumar behavior is there. That means once you create a class, from that class you can create any number of objects. So that's why the root point in every object-oriented programming is how we are going to create this class. What things are required, because you are creating a class to create number of objects. Each object is going to perform that suitable task. That's why we are comparing this object-oriented programming is a real world objects. A real world object. That means Kumar. What are the things are there in the Kumar? Everything is there in Kumar. Raju thinks Raju will be there. Whereas the Raju properties are not possible to access by Kumar. Kumar properties are not possible to access by Raju. So in a simple word, one class we created different objects. Each object has its own construction. Each object has its own construction. So this is what is called it as class and object. So now we'll see what is class and object. Here. A class is a template. This is called template. Template means a standard structure. A standard structure. Whatever the problem you are doing, every problem class name within brace, instant variables, methods. Instant variables, methods, everything is available. So, a class is a template used to create object. Class is a template used to create object. With the help of the class, we are creating object. Every object created from the class has similar features. Every object created, for example, here I am creating object AA. What AA contains? What are the things are there in the class? Everything are copied. What are the things are there? Everything is copied into B. So, every object created from the class has similar features. Class contains instance variables, that is properties, and methods, that means behavior. It is a program. Class is nothing but a program. A program contains instant variables and methods. For example, instant variables. When you want to calculate sum of two numbers, here what are the instant variables? You need to take two variables for addition of two numbers, and then you need third variable. So A, B and C. A, B and C. Whereas I want to convert Fahrenheit temperature to centigrade temperature. I want to convert Fahrenheit temperature to centigrade temperature. So here, what are the properties are there? I have to take Fahrenheit temperature, then I want to calculate centigrade. So there will be two variables, one for Fahrenheit, one for centigrade. Here the previous program, sum of two numbers, there will be three variables. In the temperature calculation, there are two variables. That means the given template is same, but the variables are going to change. Like methods. When you want to add two numbers, What you required? You need to read two numbers, then you need to calculate sum, then you need to print the result. Three methods. In the first method, you need to read any two numbers, you need to calculate sum, the third one you need to print the answer. Well, then the temperature program, where you need to read Fahrenheit value and then you need to calculate centigrade and you need to print centigrade value. That means in previous example, the addition formula is going to change, here temperature formula is going to change, but methods may be same. That means according to the problem, the instant variables and methods are going to change. In some situations more instant variables will come, in some instances less methods will come, but from a class we can create any number of objects. When we write a program in OOPS, we don't define individual objects. Instead we create class and then we create any number of objects. Remember, for example, I want to create a Kumar object where I want to store Kumar information. I want to create a Raju object where I want to store Raju information. Always people creates class, from the class they create object, but you are not allowed to create object directly. So that's why what things you require to collect in Kumar object, what things you want to collect it in Raju object, just to check it, and what are the things you required, you have to add it in your template, that is in our class. So that's why here the programmer must concentrate what things are required into the object, that everything is going to observe it and then is going to collect it inside the class. Creating class is one of the important thing. Okay. Next, what is object? So object is simply say object is instance of class. Remember this word. Object is nothing but instance of class. That means the people will create a class. The people will create a class. Remember. But to run the class, what is required? Object. That means in the class where we state, represent every instant variable method. But in runtime or dynamic approach, the dynamic approach where from the class we create object. What object contains, what are the properties are there in the class, everything is copied into this object. So that's why the actual instance that operate your data is object. It contains actual data values and operating methods. Finally, object contains your actual data values. For example, I want to add two numbers. What are the two numbers? 10 and 5. These 10, 5 values will be there in the object. For what temperature? For what Fahrenheit temperature? I want to convert it into centigrade. That is, for example, 48. This 48 is stored in the object. Whatever the values during runtime, the user is going to give it to the system, that values will be stored inside the object. So that's why in the runtime the values are stored in the object. Okay. These objects are created from the class, from a single class. So these objects are created from the class, from a single class. So here I told you already, from a single class you may create any number of objects. What are the content is there in the class, everything is copied into AA and BB. This content is going to change from problem to problem. Temperature conversion, the instant variables methods will be different, so that we are going to create one class for doing such operation. Sum of two numbers you need to create with another instant variables and methods. From that class you are going to create another objects. We can create any number of objects. The object moves easily from one system to another because objects are runtime. Objects are created during runtime with the help of new operator. With the help of the new operator, the objects are created in runtime. At the time of creating runtime, what content is there in the class, that content will be assigned into the object. Now the object is individual. Now you see, just to think yourself and myself, both are objects. Once the Kumar object starts, this Kumar forget regarding the class person, because now I am an independent object. What are the things are there in the mind? Everything are copied from my class into me. Now onwards, I am the runtime. I can take my decisions, I will do my activities, I will prepare myself, everything. Its meaning is, then there is no requirement of class, because the class content are copied in my objects. Now I am the runtime instant. Like here also, up to creation of the object is required class. Once object is created, everything is copied. Okay. This is what is called class and object. How do we write a class program? From the class, how do we create object? That I will give you in the next section. Now coming to the third feature, data abstraction. What is meant by data abstraction? As you know, abstraction means providing essential things by hiding complex details. You know, ATM is a machine. Almost every human being is going to use ATM for withdrawing money, for deposit money, for enquiring the balance, to take the mini statements, whatever it may be. Everything, of course, any matter relating to money, we are doing through ATM. You know, the ATM architecture is completely a complex architecture. It is not a simple machine. It is not a simple and easy machine. It is a very complex, because what are the cash dispenser is there, what are the printer is there, what are the scanner is there. Everything is according to the technology they created inside. And also, the person who is going to withdraw the money, he feels it easy, because he don't know whether scanner is there or not, he don't know whether printer is there or not, he don't know whether cash dispenser is there or not. He don't know anything. Just he is going to insert the card, he is going to enter the PIN number, and where he is going to select the option like withdraw, and where he is going to enter the money comes out. That means a schoolboy also withdraw the money from ATM, because whatever the difficulty is in the ATM machine, that will not be shown to the user. What user requires? For example, I want to put my ATM card in machine. So there is a knob or a slot where I am going to insert. The remaining task it will perform. If it is a legal card, it will scan it. If it is not legal card, it is going to give you a message. The card is not valid. Once the card is okay, then immediately it will ask you the PIN number. That means what your task, who is asking PIN number not required, just you need to enter PIN number. That is the job of ATM, that checks whether ATM, your PIN is right or wrong. And at the time, it is going to ask you how much money you want to withdraw. I will give you 5,000. Who will give the money? Not required. How your amount is updated in the main balance? That is not required, because the remaining background task will be performed by system. But the only thing is, it will give you the money. Like here also, the main purpose of object programming is, in the object programming, where we write class contains instant variables and lots of methods. But the person who is operating the class through object, no need to learn all objects, all methods and all instant variables. The essential things he is going to learn, because that essential things are sufficient to operate the object. That is called abstraction. Abstraction is nothing but providing essential things by hiding complex details. You may see AC. You are well aware how you are going to operate the AC. You are well aware. Just up to what stage, just you switch on your AC, and using the remote you are going to control. That means temperature control and fan control. These simple tasks you are going to perform, but behind there will be a lot of difficulty. The difficulty is not required to the operated person, operating user. What operating user requires? A switch or buttons. Like here also, data abstraction refers to the act of representing essential features. What will be required? For example, I want to insert my card. For identity purpose, in ATM, I want to insert my card. What you require? There must be a slot. After withdrawing the money, how much money withdraw? After that, how much balance is there I required? So that it is going to take a mini statement or pay slip. It is going to give you. And also, we need to enter the money, how much money you want to withdraw. That essential things, the essential features, without including the background or explanation. How the money is coming out from ATM, it is not required, because that is background task. Money will be given by ATM. How, when, where, it is not required. This is the task of data abstraction. That means we write a class. In my class, I am writing my class with all instant variables methods, hundreds of methods I use inside. But the people who are operating my class require the essential methods only, but not all methods. That is what is called data abstraction. Very important thing. In lots of technical drafts, he asked this question. Data abstraction refers to the act of representing essential features without including the background or explanation. Now, data encapsulation. Encapsule, we see a capsule, a medical capsule, okay, a medicine capsule. When you are going to open the capsule, that is that coated, that plastic coated. When you are going to open the capsule, you may see there is a powder or some ingredients inside. So, instead of chewing that medicine directly, it little bit sore or what it may be. So, we are going to have that medicine inside this wrappers, where we are going to take the wrapper. Like here also, encapsulation is nothing but a class is an encapsulated item. A class performs encapsulation. What is the meaning of encapsulation? Class ABC, a class contains instant variables and methods. This is called encapsulation, because whatever the problem we are doing, sum of two numbers or temperature or whatever it may be, according to the problem, we are going to take instant variables and methods, everything we are collecting inside a class. But what instant variable, what methods according to your problem? For example, sum of two numbers, what I required? I need three variables, A, B, C. What is required? I want to read two values. I will write one method F1 where I will read two numbers. I will write another method where I will perform addition. I will write one more method to print answer. That means in my class I have three instant variables, three methods. One for reading two numbers, another one for calculating, another one for printing. Total 3 plus 3, 6 items. This is what is called class. So, according my problem, I collected all instant variables and methods in a single place. This is what is called it as encapsulation. Encapsulation. So, the wrapping up of data and methods into a single unit is known as encapsulation. The wrapping up of data and methods in a single unit is known as encapsulation. Using encapsulation, the data is not accessible to the outside functions. That is important, because once you are going to encapsulate all these items, for example, from ABC, AA equal to new ABC. From ABC, BB equal to new ABC. Now what happened? AA is one object, BB is another object. Now I created two objects. Whatever the encapsulated items are there, A, B, C, F1, F2, F3, all these 6 items will be copied into AA and BB, like F1, F2, F3, like F1, F2, F3. Here you are going to test two different numbers, here you are going to test another two different numbers. That means I told this is Kumar object, this is Raju object, because each object has maintained its own data. To operate this object, there will be methods. With the help of the methods, where you are going to operate. This is what the content is. So, here the wrapping up of data and methods into a single unit is known as encapsulation. Using encapsulation, the data is not accessible to the outside functions, because here in my example, I want to calculate C in AA, not in BB. In AA, I want to calculate C. So that here I will use the method, which method is suitable to calculate C. If I want to calculate the result C in BB, which method is suitable? Use that method. Use that method. That is important. So here also, only those methods which are wrapped in the class can access it. It means in a particular object, if you want to calculate any instant variable answer, you require to use the method that is available within that object, not in another object. In my example, if I am going to take F3 method from BB, I want to print the value of C, that is from AA. That means the method of BB is not possible to use to operate AA, because AA has its own methods, BB has its own methods. So that is what is called it as encapsulation. Only those methods which are wrapped in the class can access it, not other class, not other object. Whatever the methods are there in the object, that methods we operate it. Okay. The next one, inheritance. What is meant by inheritance? The major actor or the major programming code in Java is classes. From the class we are going to create objects. Now in a situation, assume there is an object AA, there will be a variable A and B, and there will be a method F1, and there is another object BB. Both objects are created from the same class. Assume the same class. Okay. So when two objects are created from the same class, what is there AA, the same will come into BB. But what I am telling you, that I created AA object from ABC class, BB object from XYZ class. It means both classes are different. Both classes are different. Here in BB, you may find there is a Z, there is a K, and there is a T, and there is a method called F5. Its instant variables and methods are different. Its instance variables and methods are different. Now the question is, with the help of F5, that is method F5, I want to operate the variable B. That means some other object's method I want to use to operate some other object's instant variable. Actually it is not possible, because this item can possibly operate access by its own methods. This item is operated by its own method. That means method from BB, operating variable is from AA. It is not possible, because both are two different classes. But we can do it. If you know inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but relationship. If you create a relationship between ABC and XYZ, if you create a relationship between ABC and XYZ, then it is possible to use the property of AA into BB. So it is a technique of accessing properties and methods from another class, that is parent class, where parent class is called base class or super class, and child class is called derived class or subclass. Actually this class XYZ is not possible to operate ABC. If you create a relationship between ABC and XYZ, now from XYZ I want to use ABC. This ABC is called super class, because the item of super ABC wants to use by XYZ. Who wants to use? XYZ. Now XYZ is called child class. Child class or derived class or subclass. Because it is a super, it is sub. It is parent class, it is a child class. The child class will use all properties and methods from parent class. Now onward this XYZ can access ABC. But if you are not going to create inheritance, it is not possible. Some situation my class is okay, but I need a method from another class because I am not in the position to write that method again. Instead, I want to use the existing method available in the another class. Okay? In that moment where inheritance is suitable. Now polymorphism. What is meant by polymorphism? Poly means many. Poly means many. Poly means many. Morphism means forms. A single task, a single operation that we can perform it in different methods. Now take an example. I want to find a big number in 3 numbers. We write this program in different methods. We write this program in different methods, many forms. Remember, to find big number in 3 numbers using different methods. Like here also, if you want to perform addition, we can perform addition in different methods, different ways. Performing an operation in different approaches, different styles is called polymorphism. So, many forms. It is another important OOPS concept. Polymorphism means the ability to take more than one form. Always no need to follow a single form. We are going to follow different forms. For example, an operation may exhibit different behaviors in different instances. An operation may exhibit different behaviors in different instances. For example, plus is a symbol. We use plus for adding 2 numbers and adding 2 strings. We use plus to add 2 numbers, to add 2 strings, to add 2 characters. That means plus not for 2 numbers, it is for, we are using plus for different operation for string addition, character addition, number addition. For example, an operation may exhibit different behavior in different instances. The behavior depends upon the type of data used in the operation. Okay, that will explain in the next section what is polymorphism. Of course, it is a very big topic. Very big topic. I will explain as a special chapter. The last one, dynamic binding. What is the meaning of dynamic binding? For example, I am creating an object. As from ABC class, I am creating an object, new ABC. Now, in ABC, whatever the methods are there, whether it is F1, F2 or F3, what are the methods are there? Any method you operate it through AA. Because from ABC, I am creating an object. With the help of this object, I allow to execute any method available in the same class. My object is suitable to execute any method that is available in the same class. But my concept is, there is another class XYZ, BB equal to new XYZ. In BB, assume there is F10 method. F10 method. This F10 method is executed from BB because I created BB from XYZ, so that what the methods are there in XYZ, it will be executed. One thing, for example, I have a fridge in my house, so whenever I want, I will go, I will drink water, cool water. In your house, you have. That the thing is, I belongs to my family, that you belongs to your family. What are the items are there in my house, I may use it. If I want to take the water from your fridge, then there will be problem comes. But in some situations, the object of AA wants to execute the method created from XYZ. That means one class object wants to execute the method that is created by another class. This approach is called dynamic binding. Dynamic means runtime. Basically, we select F1, F2, F3 these methods in compile time because this object created from the same class. AA created from ABC. With the help of AA, we can execute F1, F2, F3. That is compile time. But during runtime, with the help of AA, I want to execute the method created from XYZ. That is during runtime. This is what is called dynamic binding. Binding refers the execution of method, this method in the object. Execution of the method in the object. Of course, these methods are there in the object. This method is there in this object. In dynamic binding, the method are executed in runtime. It is associated with polymorphism. Here F1, F2, F3, you will be allowed to execute 3 methods from AA because these 3 methods are available in ABC. On inheritance. At the time of running the method, it selects from suitable object. But what I want to do, I want to use from AA to run my F10. This F10 belongs to another class. So choosing a method during runtime is called dynamic. But in this case, with the help of AA, we are executing F1, F2, F3. It is compile time. Because these 3 methods are available in ABC, object is also from ABC. But in this case, object is from ABC, but method is from XYZ. This is called dynamic binding. Okay. So this is what is called it as features of OOPS. Now see once again. See this. Dear students, these are the features of OOPS: class, object, data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding. These, each and every topic is very much important. Please read each and every topic and create an idea. But one of the important thing, each one is a separate chapter. Each one is a separate chapter. Soon I will start one by one. Okay. So, dear students, this is end of section today. In this section, I explained features of object-oriented programming. Just to read it through textbooks or through internet, but identify the concept of class, object, data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Hi everyone, this is Lavanya from Kakinada, currently pursuing my 8th semester of BTech in the stream of Electronics and Communication Engineering in Aditya College of Engineering and Technology.
Myself Bino from Aditya College of Engineering, pursuing 4th BTech in the stream of Computer Science and Engineering.
I am Sunanda, currently pursuing my BTech final year in the stream of Computer Science at Aditya College of Engineering and Technology.
I'm feeling great studying in Aditya Engineering College and getting a great opportunity, and as well as in good support and training from all our faculties, HODs and placement cell.
And it's all because of Aditya, which helped me very much in every aspect of my learning.
After completing my plus 2, I thought of joining in the deemed university. But because of my parents' suggestion, I have opted Aditya College. When I entered the Aditya College, I have admired because of the beautiful sceneries and environment in Aditya College.
I'm very excited and proud to say that I got selected in one of the world's largest company, Amazon Web Services, with the CTC of 19 LPA.
In which I got selected for the role of Cloud Support Associate with a CTC of 19 LPA, which is the highest package among colleges in East and West Godavari districts in Andhra Pradesh.
I really felt elevated when I got to know that I have placed in Amazon with a 19 lakhs package.
Aditya is an amazing place which offers an unique combination of learning and self-development.
Aditya has also established a center called Technical Hub,
which provides a various varieties of technologies for students.
Thank you Aditya, thank you for providing this great opportunity to us.
I'm very happy and thankful to Aditya.
Thank you Aditya for giving me this golden opportunity. I am flattered to be an Adityan. Thank you.